Perfect. And I just got to retweet and we'll be good to go. All right, everybody. Let me just pop out the old chatterbox. So when we last left off, you guys arranged a private tour with a Hugo Montoyes, the manager over at the Antiquarian, a museum in town that is, uh, from your information from Frank Patterson, is known to have one of these statues done by a um, controversial artist named Eugene Neal. Hoping to get a little bit more information, you've arranged this tour and also cajoled Frank Patterson into joining you. He has he's going to trust his transmundane, this powerful magical object that actually radiates a red light in this black and white two-toned world. Um, he's going to keep that on himself, and you guys have assured his protection since you believe you're going to need his insight and his understanding about these statues during this tour in case anything is hinky or whatnot. Um, did I miss any major point? I don't think so. You cleaned him up. You found a few secrets in his manor, which we will not speak of. Blink and Lavin now having a bond, a disgusting, disgusting bond between them.
Shit's gross.
Gooey chemical bond.
Yes, yes,
Ugh.
indeedy. Okay, but before we get right into the session itself, do you have any questions? Do we have any questions from the players or anything like
Uh,
that?
I do a couple.
Okay.
Mostly. So, would it be safe to say? Because I have to assume that if I remember correctly, they were talking to Frank and doing all this stuff at like 1 a.m.
Yes,
So
yes, yes,
I have to
yes.
assume that everyone else would be back at the Rhapsody, basically entertaining guests and running the bar and that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, etc.
Bingo.
So safe to say, Al stayed back there.
Sure.
Would it be possible then, when we're ready to open the session, Al would like to have an interaction while they're
Sure,
gone
with whom?
with Jalea?
Oh, okie dokie. Yeah, sure. We can start the session with that and then have the guys come back and then we'll go into it itself. Um anything else from any of the other players?
I'm good.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
no questions.
All right. Just as a reminder, your tour is the next day, or I guess the same day since you showed up at his place at 1 o'clock in the morning after the museum closes around 4 o'clock. You'll be there for around 4:30 or so, and he'll take you in for a tour for about an hour, hour and a half. A personal tour by the gentleman himself. Okay, we're all in roll 20. Alrighty. What time did you want to speak with your sister there, Al?
Well, partly that would depend on. I'm curious, what is she doing most of the day? Is she basically like spending her whole day working on the cars and that kind of thing?
Hmm. It's a major. It takes up a big part of her day. Um, but it isn't all that she does. For any sort of free time, she's trying to understand the technology and what happened to the vehicles. But many times she eats, she talks with some of your fellow companions. Interestingly, mostly with Yasmin, Basilisk, Ezex, and Lee, actually. Her Lee is kind of stays away from the Rhapsody as much as he can due to his alcoholic nature.
Hmm.
So he spends a lot of his time in the back in the behemoth parkade and whatnot. So since they're in close proximity to each other over the past few days, they've kind of get to know each other. Um, and yeah. Other than that, she sometimes comes up front, helps Alicia with counting the money. But after a interesting incident where Mim came into the bar with her and a drunk hit on the robot,
no.
in which in which thankfully he was extremely intoxicated. But ever since then, she she doesn't go to the bar very often, at least with Mim around.
Got it.
So yeah, there you go.
I guess most importantly, so that Al would no, I know how he would approach it from an observer's point of view. Does it look like she is working too hard, or she's taking time to actually relax and be a normal person?
Um, kind of not, but kind of neither. Her general thing is that she works on the vehicles as kind of something to do, something that she's relatively familiar with. I wouldn't call her relaxed or without any sort of stress. Um, Unlike a few other NPCs like Basilisk and Ezex, who are just easily going with the flow. And interestingly, Yasmin, who is kind of settling into things as well. Um, Out of all the folks, of all your companions that came here to this Sable dimension with you, Julia is is the least relaxed about it. She is constantly questioning things. She's constantly kind of on edge or distracted. So she's stressed out not because of the work that she's putting herself through. She's stressed out because she's in this very strange environment.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Then at some point that evening, probably when the bar is at prime hours, so what, maybe 7, 8, 9 ish.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I don't really know when things died down back at that time.
hmm
He would go find Julia.
Okay. We'll make it real simple.
Mhm.
She she went upstairs. You saw her and Mim go past the green rooms, past backstage, up to the second floor, in the little kitchenette that you have there to get something to eat.
Okay. He would find her there,
hmm
and he would walk in. He'd say, "Mind if I join you?"
She says, "Of course." She says, "This is the first time you've been around the last little while." Um,
We've been pretty busy, yeah.
yeah, trying to find this um rabbit thing for Tyrath. And when she says that name, um her mouth purses a little bit as she oh well, Mim opens the refrigerator door and she starts to kind of feel around at the food that's there.
Al would study her for a bit, not like, not uncomfortably, just from where he
Uh-huh.
is. And then he would say, "How you holding up?"
Truthfully, um I don't know, she says. I have Listen, we're in a very, very strange place. It's not the most dangerous place in the world, but it's very odd. Everything from the way people talk to way they. She settles down for a little bit and she says, "I wish I could go back home
I
where
can
things made
understand that.
sense."
I can understand that. This is definitely difficult for you. It must be. And he's silent for a while. He's like, "Is that all you've noticed? Just the strangeness of how people talk in the world around us?"
There are DBs around, but people don't act like they're DBs. They just act like they're regular folk. She says, "I figured with Blink and that giant wolf DB of your friend of yours, people would react, but they don't," she says. "So that's
Yes,
weird."
it's actually very refreshing. It's been quite a long time since
She
I've.
scrunches up her face and shakes her head as she goes back into the fridge.
Al continues. He says, "It's been quite some time since I've seen most people look at me without a certain look in their eyes.
She says, yeah, ever since you got rid of your old body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She gets up and she has a plate in her hand and she gently heads over towards the kitchen table. Mim, attentive service robot, moves alongside her. She says, so, this Tyrath guy, once you find this golden rabbit, he's going to have to come and pick it up, right?
Or we go to him, but either way, yes, he does like to handle things personally.
She says, I want to be there for that. I want to talk to this guy.
I will make sure you're there.
Good.
I'm a little worried.
Oh, about what?
Well, I know how unsettling this has to be, but this is also an amazing opportunity. How many people get to see a place like this, a culture like this, people like this? There's so much here that is amazing, and I'm worried that you don't see it.
She folds her hands in front of the plate and reaches out, touches Mim for a second. You see Mim's head swivel right towards you, and you know at this point that your sister's looking directly at you.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I went left a year and a half ago from Dad, from our home, from our friends, to go find you. To find my brother has turned into a magic using DB who is now on some sort of quest to save the world by hopping from dimension to dimension, the same dimensions that open up into our world and cause monsters and demons and chaos and war. Why do you think I would be comfortable with any of this?
Al pauses and goes, comfortable may not be the right word, of course, but
She says, the best thing you could do for me right now is to find this stupid figurine that wizard, that creature wants, so we can talk to him and we can figure out a way for you to get back your old body so you can become normal again.
Al's silent for a while. I do care about what's best for you, and I will make sure you're there. Sometimes I wonder, do you consider what's best for me?
Yes, she says, I do. That's why I'm doing this. If I didn't care about you at all, I wouldn't be here. I'd either never go looking for you in the first place, or once I found you, remember? Remember when we reunited and I said I should go back to Dad and say that you died? I didn't do that, did I? Here in this awful strange place doing your quest because I care about you. Just because my intentions are different than what you're used to doesn't mean they're wrong, doesn't mean I'm not looking out for you. You've looked
S-
after me my entire life. Now it's time for some payback. Except you're the one that can't see. You can't see how dangerous you're living right now.
Al's paused for a second, and he says, I am very happy that you're here. I am. And I hear what you say, and I believe you believe it. If you truly want to know what's best for me, you have to try and understand me. You've been with me for a while now, yet you've not sought to see from my point of view, to understand why I think what I think. You simply think that I am misunderstood or don't really realize what I'm going through.
She gives a shrug.
So, if you don't seek to truly understand why I feel this way, can you really say you're concerned about what's best for me?
She pushes her plate away. She stands up, grabs onto Mim, and she says, I lost my appetite. Find that rabbit. Jordan, please.
I will do my best, and I'll make sure you're there when we meet Tyrath.
She gives another shrug.
When she leaves, Al will quietly slide her plate over to him and start eating it. Waste not, one not.
Yeah, fair enough. Okie dokie. That is that. The rest of the party would return back probably around 2 o'clock in the morning or so, back to the Rhapsody, back home. Getting ready, set for the next day. Now, out of curiosity, my friends, do you guys have anything your characters would want to do during the day or anything like that? Because honestly, the next scene I have in mind is just, a few minutes before 4 o'clock, going to pick up our good friend Frank Patterson and moseying him on over to the museum, the antiquarian. Now, if you guys want to talk or plan or confer amongst yourselves, feel free to do so too. You just give me the green light and I'll get us set up for that. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta just turn on the light.
So I have nothing for during the day, and so what do you guys think we should try and plan for this? Because it's gonna be real difficult.
I think this is something we're gonna have to mostly play by ear.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you have no idea what's gonna happen, right?
I do have a. Oh, go ahead, Biff.
Okay.
I am assuming is going to be taking a look at the statue. I think is just all we're there for. With our nice man here, and also going to the volcano place.
Yeah, the other exhibit, yes.
Those were the things that we wanted to do mainly. Am I correct?
That sounds right to me.
As far as I know.
Are we not taking the statues? Don't we need them?
We do need them.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, other than stealing, how are we just going to walk up and take it?
The idea is for now to see what information they have, figure out where the statue is and whatnot, and then eventually later down the line figure out a way to get our hands on that statue that's in the museum, either through
well, there was talk of
like
blackmail too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a feeling.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We have a feeling that this guy isn't actually going to give the payment to the owners. He's just going to pocket the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm all for not trying to make an attempt to get it right now, but I would say that there is a very good chance. It's not like there aren't any other options, but there is a very good chance that it might come down to just straight up stealing it, which means it might be a good idea to make a concerted effort to see how easy or hard such a thing would be.
Yeah, that's the idea behind this.
Right now, it's information.
Well, I think that should be an objective. That should be one of our objectives is see what the security would be like trying to take one of these things.
So are you suggesting testing it out testing out the security?
I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
he says
Like I said,
while
we'll
we're
have to play
no.
by ear.
I think what
Yeah.
Squee's suggesting is while you're doing the tour to also case the joint.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
there
what
you
I
go.
figured we were
Yeah.
doing anyways.
Well, but it wasn't listed, so
It
I
wasn't
just
yet.
wanted to make sure it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another, I guess, side objective for these is maybe accumulate some blackmail. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Am I missing anything? Should I add anything?
I think that's good.
Yep.
Question mark? I think so.
Yeah.
Sure.
How about you, Spiral?
You covered it all.
There
Cool.
you go.
I do have an interesting thing that something that Jalea said that kind of sparked a curiosity in me, which is something that would be fairly easy to figure out through the day, and we could almost do this narratively. But I'm curious, and would probably ask the others or see if there's a way to find out. It's true, no one's reacting to the DBs strangely. I'm curious to know if they see them as DBs or not. If everyone sees them as humans, or if they actually see Blink as Blink. That would be very interesting to note.
How would we test that?
Well, first thing would probably be to go to all our group that are DBs and ask if anyone has ever said or suggested anything that would denote they see them as themselves. For example, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but mention Blink's fur or Ezek's muzzle or something that would undoubtedly denote that they see them as a DB. The other way would be just to go up to someone and say, do you see my friend here? Describe him for me. You know what I mean? It might seem a little odd, but we could say we're part of a
Right.
survey. I mean, there's 100 ways we could do it.
You could ask someone to draw a portrait.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
And we actually know the same company that did the portrait for Mila.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Because the thing I'm thinking is here, we're in a very strange dimension, and the more we understand about it, the more it might help us at some point. We don't know how much is magical. We don't even know if these people are real or conjured. You know what I mean? Like, so the more we find out about this place, it may be pointless, but you never know. It might, 3 sessions down the road, be very important.
Yeah, that's true.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could spend most of the day doing that.
What, finding someone to draw a portrait of one of your DB friends?
Yeah.
Ezek's.
Yeah, who do you want to fix? Yeah, okay, first of all, which friend?
Maybe not Ezek's. Maybe someone like Blink.
Okay, Blink. All right, so you asked Blink to tag along for a bit of an excursion. By the way, if asking Blink or Ezex or Bear, they would say that no one's really treated them any different. No different than anybody else. So, Bear's been called a big fella a few times around. That's about it. Regardless, so are you going to try to find the same company that did the portrait for Mila and the mining corporation, or just any sketch artist?
I honestly think any sketch artist would be fine because they'd be cheaper. But
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
easy it would be to find one.
It would, well, if you're gonna spend a good chunk of the day, do that. Drive around, ask around. Let's make it real simple. Those of you who have Streetwise, go ahead and roll me a Streetwise check. No penalties or negative or positive modifiers. I think we'll do a straight skill check.
Good luck to you guys.
Okay, Patrick starts out with a 100. Interesting. Okay.
You can't get out of the garage.
Any other Streetwise checks, or is it just Patty Boy?
I think it's Patrick and Mila are the only ones.
Oh
that
yeah,
have
and
Yeah.
but
Spiral
Mila's
does.
being
Yeah.
Ellie's being NPC'd right now, so I won't roll for her. This is great. Okay. I have something for this. Okay. Oh, wait, give me just 2 seconds. Oh my god. Oh my god, yes. Okay. Okay. So, Patrick,
Yes.
everyone's kind of keeping an eye out, either maybe um or driving down the street, or looking for someone who can, a professional artist or something like that, who can draw a picture of somebody, just to kind of test this hypothesis of yours. And you, learning more and more about this setting, this dimension, you know that the newspaper is a really big thing, right? So you flip through it and you find something called a classified section, where people are offering, they're selling things and they're offering services. And one of them is looking for people, for an artist to draw. It says, classy, tasteful, and will pay $3 for top models. So this is an opportunity where you don't even might not even have to pay someone to sketch. You might actually be able to get paid. The address, all it says is CA Ronnie M, and there's an address, but there's no phone number. There's no phone number, but there is an address, and it does say that all interested applicants show up at this location, Monday to Friday, and it is Wednesday today, anytime between 12 noon and 8 o'clock at night.
Seems perfectly reasonable, says my
Yeah.
100.
Why
Okay.
not?
All right. So, who's gonna go down with Blink to this Ronnie M's place to get a sketch done? Who's interested? Who wants to come aboard?
I would like to come.
I
Okay,
will
sure.
go.
You all can, by the way. Okay, all right,
Yeah,
all right.
I'm busy
Sure.
with computer things.
Computer
like
things.
the radio.
Oh, the radio. Okay, all right. So Patrick won't be there, but he gave you the lead, on where to go and the address and everything like that. Okay, all right. I'll get to you. I'll get to you in a moment, Patrick, about you fiddling around with the radio. But would you guys go there, say around noon, after lunch, maybe?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you all pile into one vehicle along with Blink. Explain to her what the situation is. She didn't have a whole lot to do, since then. The past, few days, the time that she's been spending at the club is kind of just doing, general security, not bouncer at the door, but making sure everything is, safe. She's the one who discovered the underground passages, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, she doesn't have a whole lot to do, and so she goes along with you. And sure enough, as you follow the directions, the address through the town, once again, I guess it'll be Lavin who'll be driving. Lavin, why don't you give me a driving check again, just to see how well you're adjusting to the laws of the land. See if you run any stop signs or anything like that, my friend.
Wait for another 100. Just been
No,
sniping.
no, he actually does extremely well. Lavin, you're starting to get. I don't know. Maybe it's the vehicle itself. You've been doing a lot of driving, especially last night. You're starting to get used to things now. And there's absolutely no incidents. You don't accidentally hit a pedestrian. You don't run a stop sign. Nothing. And you don't get lost either. These street names are very strange, like Main Street, Chestnut Pine, the 54th Avenue, all sorts of strange combinations of street names with numbers. But you're even starting to figure out that, oh wait, the closer you get to downtown, the lower the number goes, for the names of streets and avenues. So, anyways, regardless, you start heading towards, kind of up into the northeast quadrant of the city, and well, it seems a little different than what you're used to. Here, I'll bring you on over to good old Velda City. Oh, where are we? There we go. The downtown core is filled with these tall buildings all over the place, and surrounding it are these residential. but this is kind of like I don't know, maybe a light industrial area, or maybe kind of residential. But it, these buildings look old. They're like all wooden buildings. There's a lot of laundry hanging out of everywhere, and it kind of seems a bit of a poorer area of the city. But sure enough, you managed to get to the description, and and you find Ronnie M's address. And it's this little shanty house. It's two, no, I shouldn't say shanty. It's 2 stories tall. It's like this old Victorian wooden building, but it's definitely looked like it's seen better days. When you went to find Hannibal, you found nice manicured lawns and hedges and everything like that. And the garden's completely overgrown. The grass is this really sickly pale color. The shingles up on the roof look like they need to be replaced, years ago. It looks a little run down. But bravely enough, you get out of your vehicles and approach the front door, and I'm assuming you knock, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knock at the
No
door.
window climbing this time.
No window climbing because Ellie isn't here. But you wait a few moments, and then sure enough, comes this gentleman. He is in a suit, although it looks like it's definitely secondhand. There's a little hole by where the knee is, and by the collar looks very, very worn. It's a drab, simple suit. It looks like maybe it's a size too big for this fellow as well. He has these very large glasses on his head, very big frames. His hair is kind of greasy and clinging to his head. He has very light colored hair as well. Um, and when he smiles, you notice that he's missing one tooth. The A tooth that's one of the incisor teeth. And he goes, Ronnie Mo, at your service. Did you see my ad?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Good. He looks to all of you, and his eyes fall on Blink. He says, "That must be the dame, right? The subject?"
Mm-hmm.
And Blink gives a bit of a furrowed brow and a light professional smile. He goes, good. Well, my studio's just upstairs. I guess are Alia coming in for this for the little thing session, or
Oh,
should
well,
it should just
you have like a waiting room, or
nah. He pauses for a moment. He sticks his finger in his ear and he says, "Well, actually, some of the fellas they don't mind watching. Yeah, no, I can make room. It's no big deal. It's just a little sketch, right? Nice and tasteful and professional, and it'll be great. It'll be great."
perfect.
Okay, well, all right. If that's what you like, come on up, he says, and he opens up the door and he lets you in, and the room smells kind of smoky and stale a little bit. You get past this little simple, grungy little kitchen, and he takes you upstairs past his living room. And sure enough, he once you head upstairs, he leads you upstairs. Um, to the left of a bedroom is his little studio room, and it's probably the biggest room in this entire house. And what is there is it's actually it's very paradoxical. The entire house is kind of run down, stale, musty, smoky, and this guy is not going to win any beauty prizes. But this studio room, is laid out extremely well. There's these beautiful velvet curtains along the back. Some really nice pieces of still art on the walls. Pictures of town cars and bowls of fruit, etc., etc. And a really nice armoire off to one side. One of those little dressing divider things, if you're familiar with that. What appears to be a wash bucket, and a very large circular bed right in the center of the um, of the room with like a bunch of pillows and blankets on it. And Ronnie, and of course, off to one side is a little stool and a little artist's easel and a little sketch pad. Uh, Ronnie, uh, Ronnie Mo, heads on over towards his little easel, and he points over towards the dressing divider, and he looks over to Blink. He goes, "Okay, go ahead and get undressed there, honey, and then go ahead up on the bed." At which Blink blinks several times, and she's about to say something. I just want to know if anyone else wants to react at this as well.
For the first time in history, I think Al may match Blink in her blinking.
Fair enough.
Lavin's going to assume that this was the time. Like everybody.
Yeah, why not? You weren't briefed on anything.
What?
He says, "Yeah, we're gonna do a cupcake photo." Oh, don't worry. He says, "Not everything. Leave your, your brassiere and your undergarments on." He says, like this. He says, and he reaches over to a sketch pad off to his right, and he heads over to your group. He goes, "See, this is what I do. There's still clothes on them, right? It's kind of like bathing suit models, right? It's a little risque. I know you see some ankles, some gams, some necks, some shoulders. She looks like she has great shoulders," he says, giving Blink a wink. And you can see Blink like if this was a cartoon, steam would be coming out of her ears. But she doesn't say anything at the moment. And sure enough, he flips through his photos, and sure enough, they're all pictures of young women with in their undergarments in various poses on this bed, one by like a wash bucket or something like that. These are definitely boudoir photos, but they're actually pretty well done. They're just let's say extremely risque. He says, "Yeah, see, nothing wrong with this. The female body is a work of art, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? You're a work of art," he says over to Blink. And
Al goes, "Uh-huh. I'm looking at these sketches. I'm curious. How would you handle our friend's particular shade of skin?"
Shade of skin, he says. You mean her hair color?
No, her skin, like on her face and arms.
Well, she don't have no skin. She's got that fluff.
Oh, well, yes. I'm sorry.
I
That's
mean,
what I
exotic
meant.
beauty. That's even more so, right? Okay, tell you what, I'll pay you $5. All right, y'all. I see what you were getting at, buddy. You're right. She's out of town. She doesn't look like the rest of these dames. She's special. She's exquisite. I got it. Okay, $5. But I can't go any higher. All right, can't break my budget.
Al will turn around. Well, I learned what I wanted to know.
I think we're gonna leave. I was under the impression that this would be a portrait with clothes on.
It is a portrait.
With clothes on, and the person who
there are
recommended
clothes
you,
on.
All of
Who recommended me? What was people talking about Ronnie Mo? Really? Seriously? He says as he gets up to you, like to Tom, really excited. Wait, people are talking about Ronnie Mo?
A friend of mine saw your advertisement and recommended, "Hey, you should get a picture for your girlfriend." And he's going to motion to Blink, because she is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's
recommendations.
It's a miscommunication. You said a cupcake photo drawing?
Yeah.
That must be slang that we are not familiar with. It's simply a miscommunication. We thought you did more mainstream sketches.
Well, I do mainstream too, he says, but that's not where the money is. He says,
I understand.
Well,
it's simply
wait.
misunderstanding on our part.
Oh, no. Ronnie Mo isn't gonna let business go out of here. Okay, so wait, all you gentlemen have been talking. That's fine. Let me talk to the talent. And he gets right in front of Blink.
No.
He says, "What's your name?" And she says, "Janina." Ah, exotic name for exotic beauty. So it's not fair that we're all talking about you and you can't speak for yourself. So tell me, hun. And the second he says "hun," her lips purse again. He goes, "Do you want your picture taken?" And she says, I am not taking off my clothes. He goes, okay, that's fine. All right. But he looks over to Tom and Al and Lavin. He says, but you said you came here looking for a portrait, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, all right. Okay. See, because this is what the deal was, all right? I was going to pay models like her money to pose for me. I keep the pictures and then I sell them off to a discreet line of personnel. That's how I make my money. So, you asked me if I draw conventional stuff, normal stuff, which is a horrible standard, by the way, he says. Yes, I do. But since I'm not going to be selling these photos to anyone else, I'll sell the photo to you, right? We'll do a very simple commission thing, right? You strike whatever pose, wear whatever you want. Give me a couple hours, I'll draw her up. I'll sell you the photo for, he says, $2. Huh? Not bad for a little afternoon.
Out of character, I'm cool with $2.
I'm fine.
Do you have $2?
We have 10 left over.
Oh, yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna have to think about making money soon, but yeah, we do.
Wait, are
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
this is something I've been curious about.
Go ahead.
Don't we make money at the Rhapsody?
You
I mean,
do.
People, yeah.
Yeah,
We
you make
haven't
plenty of
been
money at
asked.
the Rhapsody. It's a
we
business.
should ask Alicia. We should just
You
go
should.
ask Alicia.
Yeah, we should.
Definitely.
Like, I was thinking about that when I was listening to the session. I was like, but we own a bar.
Yeah, we probably.
Business is good, right? So yeah. You do have money. No one's asked. So,
Yeah, I know. I understand.
We're gonna say repairing the door costs $6, so you do have $4 in your pockets right now.
Okay.
So, sure. I mean, I'm fine with it if okay, here's the thing. I am fine with it if Blink is not too insulted because obviously
She just
doesn't-
looks to you and she
absolutely.
says, I am keeping my clothes on. That's all. As long as I'm fine, I can stand or sit wherever you want. We'll get a picture done. Then we'll know for sure, she says.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
What no for sure, says Ronnie Mo. That you're beautiful? Yeah, you're beautiful, hon. What are you doing after this, by the way? And she says, don't, I'm already taken for. Okay.
I
just wanted to see what your
just
squeeze
mentioned.
was.
I just mentioned less than 5 minutes ago she's my girlfriend.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a wet sock about that.
Here,
I just didn't
here,
see
here's
give her
the
a honey
$2,
cooler or
and he's
anything
going.
like that.
He's gonna shove the
Huh?
$2 at him.
Okay, all right. Picture time. All right. Let's talk and more drawing, right?
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. He says, and sure enough, he gets behind his eagle and his easel, and although he has a few comments or whatnot, Blink just sits at the edge of the bed, kind of strikes a comfortable, relaxed pose, but still with kind of like a straight back, and she smiles a bit. And after 2 hours, it isn't fully colored, but it is a perfect sketch, a resemblance of her identical. He draws her ears, her tail, or fucking everything, and he makes no big qualms about it. He hands over the sketch to Tom. Tom hands him $2. And now you guys, until you have that conversation at the Rhapsody, you have $2 to your name. And with that, you guys have your little sketch.
All right.
I mean, sure, Patrick sent you to a pornographer, but hey, whatever. You got what you needed.
Patrick fucked up. Yeah, Patrick fucked up.
No, it's funny.
No, how could Patrick know what cupcake means?
Dude's really good at lasers, math. I don't know about this stuff.
So on the ride home, Al would be saying, and he'd be like conferring with Tom and Patrick, and he'd be like, "So, That probably rules out a couple of things. It's not an exact recreation of the real world because if I understand, Patrick, they didn't exist back then, right? People like me or Blink.
Patrick isn't there.
Right. Okay. Then I would wait until we get home where Patrick is around.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
okay.
Before you get
Yeah.
home,
Okay.
I just want to quickly touch in with Patrick. You said you're kind of checking out the radio. Are you doing it? Are you just getting yourself familiar with the system? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Connections already made with this. Check how, like, what sort of things he can connect to and whatnot.
Well, you have a you can pick up any sort of radio band, and you can even pick up encrypted bands, or I guess you could say coded bands, but you need to take some time to decode and crack them, obviously, right?
Mhm.
Um, Other than that, um, that's pretty much it. You can pick up all the radio waves that are flying through the air, no problem. Yeah.
So I've been formally familiarized with the technology of radio.
Yes, 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 exactly. Because it's different. Instead of digital readouts or whatnot, it's a lot of analog switches and dials. But you get yourself familiarized with it now. It's kind of you learn the backwards compatibility, for lack of a better word, of this radio.
Cool.
Good stuff. Anyway, so you get back to the Rhapsody, and there's a question for Al for Patrick. That's for sure.
Right. Al would kind of go over what happened, and he would say, "So, I mean, that has to rule out a few things. As far as I can tell, perhaps maybe people were brought here from a place where there is no difference between DBs and humans, or they aren't real, they're conjured by someone, and because they're conjured they don't notice a real difference, or they've been brought here from the real world but somehow massively brainwashed to not see a difference. That's the only
Or
three possibilities I can think of.
or maybe because that is their natural form, then people figure that magic and all of that, people figure that it's natural for them to be like that.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is they can't. I mean, it's not that they can't, but it'd be very strange for them to be from our neck of the woods or from most dimensions. Some people would at least have some. I mean, look, we've seen how everyone treats me wherever we go back in the other world.
Blink
True.
says, "Well, there's only one other option." It kind of reminds me back in Orbit, actually. Maybe the folks are born here and they're just raised with the idea that they might look different, but it doesn't matter.
But the thing is, in orbit, there were lots of people that look different. I have
Yes, she
yet to
says there were
see anyone that
mutants and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have yet to see anyone that looks like a not human besides us.
She gives a bit of a shrug. Oh no.
I mean, that's the key, right? Has anyone else seen anyone besides our group that is not human?
No,
Shouldn't they
she
stand out?
says, but we've only, yeah, they would definitely stand out, she says, but we've only been here a couple days. We haven't seen everyone here in this city.
It's true.
True, but we've been around a lot.
Oh, has anyone entered the nightclub like this?
No.
Hmm.
So that's the strangest part. As far as I can tell, and you're right, Blink, I am making some guesses here because we haven't seen everyone in the city, but as far as I can tell, we're the only ones that don't look human, yet no one has reacted in any way, shape, or form to that.
Yeah. She says it's a mystery. I guess we could ask people, she says.
Yeah, but remember Tyras's warning of not rocking the boat. We'd have to be
Hmm.
very careful.
She says maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe that's what they're doing too. They're not rocking the boat.
Possibly. They'd
Yeah.
be very good at it, though. Most people have trouble hiding their reactions completely. But again, another possibility. I'm
Okay.
most curious in.
Oh, go ahead. No, no, no.
What I'm most curious in is if these people are real or not. Are they conjured or are they brought here from somewhere? That's what bothers me the most.
Blank gives a bit of a grin and she says, "Last night I had the interesting opportunity to meet Mr. Frank Patterson. If that guy isn't real, then I'm going to say whoever whipped him up has a big imagination."
I agree. I tend to think they're real too. But I have seen some amazing things happen. Is there anyone in this room that doesn't doubt Tyrath could make someone out of nothing and make them feel and look real?
Can't really comment.
Patrick thinks for a moment and goes, I mean, if you dared him, sure, but I'm not quite sure if he would want to, on a whim, make an entire construct of city and all of its people. That's a big order for someone, if I understand how magic works.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a fair point. They would have to be exceptionally powerful to conjure up an entire city. So again, I think it's more likely they're real, but that then begs the question, were they kidnapped? Were they brought here? Or would it happen so long ago that it's no longer relevant?
Those are big questions, Al, says Blank. I don't think we're going to answer them all right away.
Yeah, I think we're just stressing out about it a bit too much for now. We have.
No, I think it's fantastic. I mean, this is a huge mystery. Look at where we are. Don't you want to know? Aren't you curious?
I mean,
I'm
I
not
am
stressed, Burn. Burn. Whoops. I'm not
Thank
stressed,
you.
Tom.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm insanely curious.
Okay.
Patrick thinks for a bit. Well, my best guess would probably be something along the lines of travelers eventually coming here, maybe pre-existing culture, and whoever comes here becomes a new focal point of whatever this place is.
Hmm.
Until
That's
they,
definitely
They
interesting.
just forget where they're from.
yeah,
Mhm.
they eventually just lose themselves.
Yeah.
Well, not
Except for the
completely, of
PI.
course. More of
Seems
just their past.
whole place seems like someone's ant farm to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, none of those are questions we can answer here in the room. But it is interesting.
Cool. Okie dokie. Next scene picking up Mr. Patterson. Mr. Frankie
Sure.
Frank.
Sure.
Okay. So you roll out in your vehicles. I'm assuming everyone is on board with this too. And in fact, there was talk, at least Ellie was talking, about having a lot of the employees, aka the NPCs, coming along for this little tour as well. Do you guys
Yeah.
kind of want that, or do you want to keep a smaller group?
I'm cool with having
we
more
actually
people.
told them we were bringing pretty much everyone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to make.
Yeah.
I just want to confirm that's still the plan.
Yep.
Okie
Yeah.
dokie.
Yeah.
All right, so you have to load into the two vehicles that you have. I don't think anyone else knows how to drive a car. Let me just quickly look over here. Oh wait, no. Basilisk knows, and Alicia, she can drive an ATV. She can kind of drive these vehicles. All right. So everyone kind of piles in, and maybe the plan is to have most of the folks, most of your friends, head straight towards the antiquarian, and you guys roll past Patterson just so you don't spook him with a big group of people or something like that. You pick him up and then drive him over to the antiquarian and meet up with everybody else. Sound like a decent plan, or do you guys not want?
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So we'll say it is Mila will be. She's going to be NPC'd, unfortunately, and although she's very invested in Frank Patterson, I don't want to spend all this time role playing, a character that isn't around. So I'm going to stick her with the rest of the NPCs for now, and we're going to have Al, Tom, Patrick, and Lavin come on by. You're going to pile into a vehicle and uh, head back to Patterson's little mansion of a townhouse. Where is he? There you are. In which you can see a freshly painted